Can barely hear it.
You can hear it?
Now I can. Oh, now I can't.
Can you hear it?
No, but it looks like it's
Hold on.
round.
Yeah, it's coming right here. Yeah. Here it is.
King of Funk, baby.
Yeah. Here it is.
Yes. Rocky 2, Rocky 3.
Yeah, 4 when he fought Drago.
Oh, that was the Drago was for?
Yeah, when he fought
That was Apollo Creed's.
Yeah, he fought Drago. So anyways, the reason why obviously I put that fight, that song as the introduction because of the big fight on the weekend, and it was the American with a great win. Hey Doc, and we're talking about at the. Well, I'll just get right into it.
Let's do it.
Was in Dubai at the Caesars Palace Bluewater in Dubai, and it was Carl the Jackal Frampton, who before the records before the fight 28-16 versus Jamel Herring. And the reason why the I did some research. So I'm like, what is Semper Fi? What is that? So what it is, it's a model for the U.S. Marine Corps because Herring was a Marine and he did two tours in Iraq.
Oh wow.
So the guy gets so much credit and everything from a lot of people for doing that, and which means so the motto for the U.S. Marines Corps, it means always faithful and always loyal. So I generally, Doc, before the fight, like the day of the fight, I do like a prediction. I put it on and stuff. And this is what I'm just talking about because it's relevant. So this is what I said. I'm like, the big question was, can Carl the Jackal Frampton become a 3-time world champion? The first time there's been someone from the island of Ireland to win three titles in 3 different weight classes. Anyways, so my prediction was I really like Frampton, and I'm sure you do too. Everyone loves Frampton. He's a great guy, but I thought he's given away too much significant height. A height advantage, 5'10" Herring, and 5'5" is Carl Frampton. That combined with the southpaw style of Herring, and Bullmac being his trainer, and that's Brian McIntyre, and that's Terrence Crawford's trainer, and he generally, there are times, not all the time, but a good coach can really bring you to that next level.
For sure.
When you're like, a prime example is Tyson Fury when the coach from Kronk, Sugar Hill, took over and look at in the rematch with Deontay Wilder and how he just put him away in that fight.
Yeah.
I think that makes a big difference. Sugar Hill, look at the work that he did with Adonis Stevenson and bringing him to the top. I mean, he was the nephew of Emmanuel Stewart, who was, in my opinion, probably one of the greatest trainers of all time. Probably, I would say he's got to be up there, like maybe the best guy.
I agree.
So, and then I go on to say, those are about the Herring fight in Dubai. I said because of those reasons, I think Herring will do enough to win, but he did more than enough to win. But but also said this, I'm like, prior, because the whole COVID diagnosis of Herring having it a couple times, and
Yep.
and what I said was it has lingering effects, like we saw with Povetkin, we saw it with Artur Beterbiev. Would that play into this fight? Well, and it didn't. So basically, Jamal Semperfi Herring from Cincinnati, Ohio, now improves to 23-2, 11 KOs with a TKO in the 6th round of Carl the Jackal Frampton from Belfast, Northern Ireland, who now falls to 28-3 and 16 KOs. So what are you saying, Doc? What are your thoughts on this fight?
Well, I think it's, first of all, it's nice to see a boxer that uses his natural gifts and attributes and uses it to almost perfection. Sometimes real tall fighters, they come down in their stature and they don't fight like a tall man. I think, what's his name? Remember that heavyweight or cruiserweight David Price from England? He was big, tall, lanky. He never used any of that to his advantage. And
he had a lot of other problems too, but it wasn't
true.
that. But yeah,
True.
Chin being one of them.
Absolutely, but that was just as an example. And I love how he used his height. He used his reach. He controlled distance. They had a very simple but the perfect game plan of keeping Frampton at the end of his reach. Frampton, every time he tried to come forward, and that's why he got knocked out too, TKO'd, is every time he came forward, either what's his name? Jamel would throw either a quick check hook, or when he came forward, he'd throw a quick short little left right down the middle. And that caught him. That knocked him down too.
It did.
So I just think he and his team fought the perfect fight, and the perfect fight for a tall man fighting a shorter man. It was so artistic. I love that fight. And he was so cool and calm and relaxed.
They definitely
he looked real good.
So like with him, right? So the whole trainer, the trainer changed, and that happened. Now this is with both Brian McIntyre, Terrence Crawford's trainer, and he's been in that camp since he's 7-0 and 2 KOs since he made that change. So that made a big difference, because one is the trainer, of course, but two is the camp that he's in. Like, he's with Terrence Crawford, and that's pound for pound one of the best guys, if not 1, 2 in the world. Probably 1, because he's more active. So that's gonna wear off on you, and that kind of, they push each other. They, that kind of feed, like kind of like the Canelo with the camp there, and that he has in Mexico with Ryan Garcia, Canelo, Andy Ruiz, the Cuban heavyweight, with Eddie Reynoso.
And sometimes that doesn't always work too, right? Remember when Chocolatito started training with Triple G up in the mountains?
And Big Bear.
He lost that fight.
He did.
Right?
That was kind of odd for him, Chocolatito, a lot smaller fighter, to go up to Big Bear to try. I mean, I guess, like, it's good to get yourself into training camp with, regardless of what weight the guy is, right?
Yeah, true.
Because those attributes will wear off on you and stuff. And and I think that Herring, just by being in a new camp, also with guys like Crawford, is such a smart fighter. And his whole staff is just so intelligent about strategy and approaching fights. And just having that in his corner was a huge advantage, because the whole plan was really perfect. Yeah, it was. And I think the biggest question, Doc, with this fight was that, and that was what I was thinking. I'm like, will Herring get caught up in a fight? Like, or will he stick to his P's and Q's? Will he stick to his game plan? Because if he sticks to his game plan, it's gonna be an easy night. And it was an easy night.
Yeah,
The uppercut, the last one that dropped him, how sick was that uppercut? He was landing that uppercut during the fight.
Yeah.
The straight left to the body, bang, the straight left from the southpaw stamp. He was landing that. It was a beautiful performance.
It really was. And always catching him to keep him at distance. Whenever Frampton would be aggressive and come in, he would, most of the time, not always, but most of the time, he would make sure he caught him coming in.
Mm-hmm.
He caught him with that uppercut. He caught him with a straight down the pipe.
That was the first knockdown when he dropped him with the straight bang, just a boom, like straight, nice left.
Perfect. Reminded me of when Linares, that straight that Linares threw on Lomachenko and put him down.
Oh yeah.
Same type of thing. And you got so much more force when the guy's coming forward too.
Yeah.
So it just looked like Herring saw everything too. Anything that was coming his way, he saw.
Yeah.
So I think
so.
Right? I got that feeling.
Yeah, I think so. I think what happens when you're in the ring and things are going your way, like everything's going your way, and then you get this confidence and you get in that zone, like that everything's going your way and you're doing everything's right and you can't be touched.
Yeah.
And it felt like he was like that.
What did you think? There were a few occasions where Herring was fighting in the phone booth for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think then his corner said, no, take it back to the outside. Yeah. But what did you think of his ability when he was in tight with Frampton?
He's still a great infighter too. He's well schooled, right? Like on the outside and on the inside. Yeah. I mean these fighters like say like Tommy Hearns, like, you know, obviously his long reach and all that, he was deadly but he can fight on the inside too. Of course he can. He's well rounded, and so was Semperfi. He was well rounded.
Yeah.
Jamel Herring, it was a great performance. And one thing that I kind of, you could tell that Carl Frampton and his team that were already looking at, you know, the possibility of losing, because they were already expressing numerous times that this will be the last fight. You know, if I lose, this will be the last fight. And generally, when a fighter says, "If I lose, man, I'm gonna retire," that means like that's basically like, if I lose to this guy, I should retire, because no one should lose to this guy. So that's not what that meant. He really meant it. He was looking, and he announced his retirement right after the fight.
Yeah. And he's been in a lot, like, what is he, 38 or something? How old
no, he's younger. He's 34.
34.
And Jamel Herring is 35.
So he's had a lot of injuries, Frampton, right?
He's had a lot of injuries. That's one thing.
And he's been in a lot of battles. The 2 fights with Leo Santa Cruz. You know, he's been in some tough fights, Scott Quigg fights. Like that's a lot of punishment over time too. So I think he did look to me like his age was showing. He looked older than 34 in there. Maybe that's why I said 38, but he did look older than 34 in there.
You know, honestly, at the beginning, like the beginning rounds, he didn't even look into the fight to me at all, because it was like the guy has your number. Like he's nullifying everything that you can do. You can't really do much with this guy. And
you're right. Sorry, go on.
And that's what it seemed like, that he couldn't really do much.
And he couldn't. And there were times where I noticed just the expression on his face where he'd throw a bunch of misses.
Yeah.
When he's trying, and also trying to get inside, and he just there were times when he looked frustrated too.
Yeah.
The expression on his face.
Yeah. Yeah.
A tough man, and he doesn't, even for a 5'5" guy, he does not have much of a reach. Period.
No. It was, I didn't even see how much his reach was, but it was a significant reach advantage, obviously, for Herring in the fight. And that combined with a southpaw and a 5'10", that's a nightmare.
That was a nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
Who would you like to see Herring fight next?
Well, we'll get into that. We'll talk about this weight class, because it's another weight class that's really really hot right now. It's really hot. I mean, I would like to see, like, quickly, I would like to see Oscar Valdez and Herring fight, because I don't think a Shakur Stevenson fight would happen with Herring, especially maybe because they're close, because they're all in that group, like the Terrence Crawford, Jamel Herring, sorry, and Shakur Stevenson. They're in that group together, like they're close. These guys are close, but I mean, money makes things different, right?
Yeah, true. And that fight doesn't have to happen yet. That should percolate a little bit if it's going to be Herring.
I mean, the thing is, like, Herring's 35, but he's also Herring's an Olympian too. That we can't forget about that. 2012 Olympian.
Yeah, and exactly, and he also did not, like, his pace. The way he also controlled the pace of the fight was, he just never looked tired to me. He always looked relaxed and control. Under pressure, he was good under pressure. And when you're not taking too many hits and you're 35, you can extend your career.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I just liked how his use of his energy was just very controlled the whole way through. I got so much respect for him after that. Even more respect after that fight. I just love.
Yeah, for sure. And look at the serving two tours in Iraq. Losing his daughter when she was born from a sudden SIDS.
Yeah,
and so he had
that's wow, I can't even imagine that.
And for a guy to go through all that, he has so much credit, and he was so humble after the fight and stuff too.
You gotta love this.
I love that. I love when they embrace and the respect shown. So basically, this is what Frampton's saying. He's like, and I definitely can't do an Irish accent, but he's like, I'm deeply upset. I said I'd retire if I lost this fight, and that's what I'll do. My wife and kids have made so many sacrifices. I miss them so much. I want to dedicate my life to my family. Boxing has been good to me. It's also been bad to me, but the last few years, and he's talking about his corner and stuff, these boys have been the best years of my life. I just want to go home to my beautiful wife and kids, and that's it, and then dedicate my life to them. So he deserves that. He's been around the block.
Yeah, always exciting fights. Every fight he's been in has been an exciting fight.
Yeah,
he's always been a threat.
He's an exciting fighter. Well, he beat Leo Santa Cruz, and that's when Leo Santa Cruz was undefeated.
Yes, that was amazing. That was a fun fight.
That was a big win. Big win.
And his fight with Quigley, Scott
Quigg. Yeah.
Those were good. I love those. That was a good fight too.
Yeah, well, the Quigg fight, he won that fight too.
Yep.
He won that fight. He won his title from Kiko Martinez in 2004 at home, and Kiko was a pretty good fighter too.
Yeah, and that was in 2004.
14 in Belfast. That was at home. Is when he won the I think it was an IBF title.
Yeah.
I think I can't.
I can't remember.
He beat Nino Dinero too. We forget to mention that. He beat Nino Dinero, who was a ring pound for pound fighter at one point.
Yeah.
He got dominated by Josh Warrington.
Yeah.
In the fight there. And Warrington was just like all over him.
He was on fire, Warrington. He put the pressure on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this he deserves a lot of respect. Do you think he'll come back though? He'll do the off for a year and come back?
I definitely don't think he'll come back, because they were talking about it before the fight. They're how much they were emphasizing, if I lose, I'm done. I'm going away from the sport. He looked like he was like he's already checked out, like looking for that last payday. Or I swear I don't want to say that, or maybe he didn't, but to me it sounded maybe he had 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out the door. You know?
Yeah.
How Andre Ward says it.
Yeah, I like the saying, you can't steal second with your foot still on first.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? That's true. That's true. So he made 1 point something million pounds for that fight. Herring got paid. Herring got 2.2 million pounds.
Or euros.
No, pounds. Pounds.
That's damn good, man.
Yeah.
That is damn good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm glad he got paid well.
Yeah, I'm glad too.
But you think Abu Dhabi is just going to become more and more popular because of the purses?
I think everywhere there, like Dubai, all the United Arab Emirates and all that, that's where all the fights are happening now.
Yeah, that's ultimately where we got to go. Fight.
That'd be nice to go there, man.
Get
watch a fight.
Woo.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Doc and the Boxer live from Dubai.
That'd be awesome, man.
And then no one sees us again. We're in Dubai. We're shooting our podcast from Dubai.
Because we're spies.
Yeah. Yeah. So then Herring was saying this is like, no, he's like, it was an emotional roller coaster to get here. My last outing wasn't the best. But I wasn't gonna quit. Carl Frampton is a tremendous champion, and I've been a fan of his since day one. He's one of my favorite fighters. He's a 2-division world champion. He's done great for the sport of boxing. It was an honor to share the ring with him, and I hope he gets home safe with his family. It was a great night for me, and now I want another title. To any of those other champions out there, if you want the fight, let's make it happen.
Gotta like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotta like that, because he'll put that belt on the line every time he fights too.
And this fight was it was supposed to happen a bunch of times. The fight was originally canceled because Herring tested positive for steroid. I'm sorry, I did not say that. He tested positive for coronavirus. I think he had it twice. Another fight he had it. The prior fight, but then he retested, and then Frampton had an injury. The first time the coronavirus was the reason why the whole fight got scrapped. But anyways, they finally got in the ring. So what I like the junior lightweight division is pretty good. Like 130.
It's thick, man.
We got Shakur, Jamel Herring, Oscar Valdez, Jojo Diaz, Tevin Farmer, Miguel Burchell, Leo Santa Cruz.
At 130.
Yeah.
130.
Yeah.
Maybe Lomachenko comes down to 130 instead of 135.
He is fighting at 130.
Yeah.
And he's fighting that Nakatani guy. Well, that's a talk. There's so much talk about this fight's gonna happen. Let's just wait till they go into the ring, and then we know it's actually gonna happen.
Right. Yeah, why speculate? I agree.
So a little bit about Jamel Herring. So 4 years ago, Jamel Herring, he just picked up his second loss of his career, and that's when he lost in the 10th a decision to Ladarius Miller, who who was 21-1, 6 KOs. And Herring basically admitted, he was like, I was at a crossroads at that point. He admitted that. He's like, I didn't know which direction to take. At the time, he was trained by Mike Stafford, who was Adrian Broner's trainer.
Yep.
Yeah. But he felt he needed the change, and then he started working with Brian McIntyre Bolmack, who trains Terrence Crawford, and he signed with Top Rank too, because I'm sure Terrence Crawford had a lot to do with that, because Terrence Crawford is promoted by Top Rank.
Yeah.
And then he moved down a weight class too.
That must have been hard.
Look at his frame. He's absolutely shredded when you see him. Shredded.
But 5'10", for a 5'10" to get that's crazy. That's like, I'm 5'10" and 3/4.
Yeah, I'm about that too.
Centimeters or inches?
Okay.
But can you imagine 5'10" getting down to that weight? And you're 35.
And you're 35.
That is a feat in itself, but that's a sign of mental strength and toughness.
And that's at Marine and doing the 2 tours. Right. That's that type of mentality as well. And that's one thing I was thinking too. I'm like, maybe the weight is going to be him struggling to make weight, because one thing is he arrived in Dubai just 1 week prior to the fight, and Frampton kept going on about like he came a little bit late and it's not going to be good for him and blah blah. Frampton was there, I think, for a month.
Yeah, acclimatizing to it.
Yeah. But it didn't have no effect on him. And he said he's with the nutritionist now. I think that's a big help for somebody trying to make weight and stuff, to have a nutritionist. You know, when you get this kind of money, you have a nutrition, you have those options, and you get your food ready for you. It's the right things that you need to be eating, this and that, and
then it's a nicer gradual weight loss without having to crazy dehydrate. And also it's a weight loss where even though you're losing weight, you're still consuming calories, but you're consuming the right calories, the calories that are going to be used for energy instead of being stored as fat. And that's what the nutritionist, that's why it's so important now at the highest level to have a nutritionist on your team. It makes a huge difference.
For sure. And these athletes they have them nutritionists and stuff. Yeah. They have them with them in their camps. When they're making that kind of money, it's an investment.
And the best trainers too. Like a good example of that is, remember when Gary Russell Jr. fought Lomachenko?
Mm-hmm.
And you could see he didn't have that good energy, but still Lomachenko dominated him in that fight. After the fight, they were talking about how his trainer had him do a sauna before the fight.
Oh yeah.
Which is you just take all the water, so much water out of your system, and really drain. And you feel, I don't know, you ever get out of a sauna after and you just feel kind of fatigued at first?
Man, I know those sauna days about making weight.
Yeah.
You're just so depleted afterwards.
Right.
You can't do anything.
Right. So that shows you the right nutritionist, the right trainer. They can make decisions that can affect the fight, and ultimately whether it affects, if you get a belt, how you get that belt or not.
Yeah.
So I think that's something you're going to see when you get a good team like Crawford's team and Canelo's team. They all have the right people in pieces in place.
Yeah, it's a team. Even though boxing is, you're on your own when the bell rings, but it's a team that gets you there.
Right.
And then when the bell rings, then you're on your own. But it's a team that gets you prepared and gets you to that point.
Yeah. And you see now, I think we're seeing more and more of this migration the guys going with these teams like Ruiz Jr.,
True.
Oscar Valdez,
Yeah.
going to the Canelo team. I think we're gonna now with Crawford's team.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see this trend happening more and more.
Yeah.
As they become more successful.
Yeah, like Adrian Broner and those Robert Easter and Rasheed Warren and like all those Ohio guys, like they're all training together. And you're right, like you put yourself with a team that's gonna help you get there, push you.
Exactly. And I think it makes it even more exciting, and it makes the story even better too.
It does.
It
does. Like the story being like, how much better can this guy get? Like, is he gonna get a lot better and stuff? Like this stuff's gonna, he's trying to sell with people that are trying to get to the same place you're trying to get to.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, and it's nice to see some of these guys where you think their career sort of plateaued. They change teams and then they're resurrected. Yeah. So I think that's we're going to see more and more of that happen, and I'm good with that. I like that.
Yeah, you got to make the necessary changes, right? Yeah. Or otherwise, you're going to just plateau and go the same level, win fights, lose fights. Yeah, everyone's trying to get to the pinnacle, the top, and be the best.
Right.
In the weight class. Yeah. Also, Doc, did you see any other fights on
that? I saw the Donnie Nietes
fight. Yeah. I was talking about that. Super flyweight Donnie Nietes from Bacolod City, Philippines, improves to 43-1, 5 draws, 23 KOs with a unanimous decision over Pablo Carillo from Barranquilla, Colombia, who's now 25-8-1, 16 KOs. Just quickly on Donnie, he's from Bacolod City, Philippines. I went there for a tournament in 1998. It was a Mayor's Cup in Bacolod. They have a tournament there every year, the Mayor's Cup. So, like, think of it like this: the amateur boxing it's just that I don't even know what to say about it. But so, the Philippines had 3 people in every weight class in 48, the smaller weights. Like they're only smaller guys, right?
Yeah.
So in like 6 weight classes, Philippines had like 3 people, and the Philippines won gold, silver, bronze in all these weight classes. Like my first fight was Korea and I beat him. Then I fought the Philippines, and there's no way, they already got it all ready to, these guys are gonna get all gold, silver, bronze.
Yeah, predetermined.
Yeah, it was predetermined pretty much. Yeah.
A lot of fighters though in the Philippines now.
This is especially now because Pacquiao has really open. Philippines has a rich boxing history.
Yes,
Alorde, Jerry Ponce Villa,
Penalosa,
Jerry Penosa. They have always had great fighters, right?
Yes.
But Pacquiao has brought a lot to the island of the Philippines, and it's become a huge boxing place now. And
go on. Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's like, I bet you in the next 10 years we're gonna see a bunch of boxers coming out of Nebraska. Right?
Yeah.
Because of Crawford.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I didn't know where you go with that, but I'm like, oh yeah, Crawford, yeah, definitely. Oh my, yeah.
I think, and that's we're gonna keep seeing all these really good fighters come out of the Philippines, and it will have a lot to do with Pacquiao as well.
Yeah.
So go on.
So he, look at his record, like 43-1 and 5. He is 38 years old though. That's only knock on it because he's a super flyweight, and the longevity in these weight classes is not that much. But he looks like really good to me, like really good, like nice tight guard. I like that tight guard. Everyone's trying to do the Mayweather stuff with the hand down and like that. Just keep those hands up, man. You can block a lot more.
He's like the type of guy that if I was introducing somebody into boxing to look at fundamentals, I would show them Nietes fights because his fundamentals, he's so solid and sound.
Yeah.
That was like a feint. I call that the feint fest.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are throwing many feints, like every single round.
Yeah.
But I really like the way he fights too. And again, as a 38-year-old, instead of coming aggressively forward,
a
lot of the times he would, very patient. But that you're right, that guard was like almost perfect.
Yeah, like the airtight.
Yeah,
airtight guard. Nietes, so he is very skilled. He's beaten Cazorro Alco, who was 20-0 at the time. He's beaten Juan Carlos Reveco, who was 39-2. Edgar Sosa, that's a familiar name, 59-8 at the time. Moses Fuentes, 19-0.
Fuentes,
yeah. So he could possibly be thrown. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but he possibly could be thrown into that super flyweight mixed with Rangosai, Estrada, Quadras, Chocolito, possibly. But I mean, those guys have their own business to take care of before, and they're gonna Estrada and Chocolito will fight, Rangosai and Quadras will fight, and then we'll see how that tournament plays out.
Yeah.
Then Doc, then there's another fight card on, and that was from Uzbekistan. So there's a bunch of Uzbeki fighters now.
Yeah.
And Uzbekistan, like, first of all, we have to look at their history and in amateur boxing, especially amateur boxing, because they're one of the top countries. If you look at Russia, Kazakhstan, Ukraine, Uzbekistan, Cuba. These are the top countries, generally the top 6-8 countries, and they have a bunch of I don't know how many fight cards they've had in Uzbekistan, but this one they got a world champion, a two belt champion, and that's more MJ is his nickname, but it's Mortajan Akhmadiev. I can't pronounce that properly.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
But anyways, he retains his WBA and IBF super bantamweight title with the 8th round stoppage of Rozuki Awasa from Japan, who's 27 now and 27-4, 27 knockouts. Just quickly, MJ Mortajan is in amateur world championships. He won in 2015. He's a bronze medal at the 2016 Olympics. So these guys are very well schooled in amateur.
Yes.
Did you get a chance to see this one?
I didn't see this one.
That's okay, because I just missed it, but I watched a replay, and it was very I mean, even the Rizoko Awase didn't just come there as an opponent. Like, he was already an former IBF champion.
Nice.
And so it was a premature stoppage in this fight. But he was on his way. MJ was on his way to win. He's a nice little southpaw. He boxes beautiful, straight punches. He's just a monster, like a tank. Then it was a whole Uzbeki card, and they had a couple other Uzbekistan guys that were fighting on the card. Israel Madrimov, who was 26 years old. And so MJ is 26 years old too. So these guys aren't that old.
No.
Right? They're all in Indo, California now, training with Diaz Diaz and
Joel Diaz,
Joel Diaz and his brother. I think it's his brother, Tony.
You know, just as a sidebar, when I went back looking at some of our old episodes, and in one of them, when I still have my beard, one of the comments left was, "Is that?" They were talking about me. The guy goes, "Is that Joel Diaz? I think it is."
Oh, they're saying are you him?
Yeah, that I look like Joel Diaz.
Yeah. Yeah, Joel Diaz. Hey, actually, now that I'm thinking of you, we just get you some glasses. Like you wear sunglasses always. You got some?
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, the sunglasses. He always got the sunglasses on. You could pass for him. A lighter skin.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get into fights if I pass by.
Get the accreditation stuff, man. So it's all about that. So Israel Madrimov is 26-year-old. He's a gold medalist at the Asian Games, 2-time gold medalist at the Asian Games is not an easy tournament.
No,
it's a very tough tournament. That's why,
especially in the lighter weights, it must be tough.
Especially in the lighter weights. Yeah, those countries, all those former Russian countries, Kazakhstan, and all those stands are over in the Asian Games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thailand, Philippines. Can you imagine that in the low weight classes, the fights that you see there?
Yeah. I mean, if you're winning those tournaments, chances are you're a tough top guy on the planet in that weight class for sure.
It's not like me saying, "Oh yeah, he's a Commonwealth Games gold medalist," and because those tournaments don't come anything close to Asian Games.
Wow, man,
like that with the caliber of fighting.
Still Commonwealth champ. That's still damn good, dude.
Yeah, it's good. And then Mamardov, he's now 6-0. He won a unanimous decision 10 round. Then the other guy is Shashkaran Gayasov, 27 years old, who's a silver medalist at the 2016 Olympics and a gold medalist at the 2017 Worlds and a gold medalist at the 2017 Asian Games. Now goes to 10-0 with a KO in the third round. Well, yeah, like I said, both guys trained by Joel Diaz and brother Tony Diaz. Tony was a fighter. Do you remember him?
Yes, I do. Didn't he lose to
I think Vargas, was, if I remember correctly.
Didn't he also fight Keith Thurman?
No, I think he was maybe earlier. Might have been earlier.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But I mean, Timothy Bradley was trained by Joel Diaz, right?
He was. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And there's another Diaz. There's a Diaz that wears sunglasses that's from Spain and used to train Sergio Martinez. And then there's Joel Diaz who trained Bradley, right?
Yeah.
And then Bradley left him because he was just getting hit too much.
Yeah.
Right? Especially in his fight
against
right.
Yeah.
The Russian Rocky.
Yeah, the Russian Rocky. Oh no, wasn't the Siberian Rocky? The Siberian Rocky.
That's it, Siberian. And that dude took a lot of punishment to give out punishment. You don't see him in the fight game anymore. Actually, after the Bradley fight, you just didn't hear about that guy anymore.
No, you didn't much. Even Bradley talked about the concussion that he had after that fight. He wasn't able to talk and stuff for like a month.
Yeah. That was rough. That was really rough. And that's when they got Teddy Atlas after that for his next couple fights.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh no, here you go. Oh,
we firemen.
Classic Teddy Atlas.
I love his classic, eh? I like Teddy.
I'd love to get a phone interview with him. We got to start searching out some of these guys.
Yeah.
See if we can get them on. Yeah. I'll ask my son, and he's in marketing. I'll ask him how to go about doing that.
Okay. Okay. Maybe
you never know.
Yeah, you never know. We just put it out there, try to get them on.
Maybe we can get on Mike Tyson's hot boxing.
Hot boxing, yeah. That'd be nice to go on that one.
So what do you think about these guys? These guys are only 26. They have around 10 or less fights, pro fights. They're doing well, obviously. Are we going to see more of these guys, you think, over the next few years? More of these guys from
I think so, because the one thing is that one, the amateur game, we all know, like Mick Collins says, it stinks. I've a bunch of cheats out there. Amateur boxing stinks, and like this. I think that's one thing that's gonna turn off these fighters from staying amateur long.
Yeah.
Because before it used to be they are staying long, and they're going to Olympics and Olympics. Now they're going I'm giving you their resumes here, that they just go to one Olympics. They're not going to 2 Olympics, and that means it's another 4 years. So they're going professional, and I think like opportunities like this with MJ, being a 2-time champion from Uzbekistan, it's gonna open the doors for, look at now they're training. They got their training base in California now with Diaz and stuff. So it's gonna be a revolving door.
Yeah.
With the Uzbeki fighters.
Yeah. I also wonder about if there's with these amateur fighters now, because they're not wearing headgear in the fights, if that has an influence on them turning pro, like going like, okay, I'm not wearing headgear anyways, so
yeah. Right. Oh, Doc, sorry, I just forgot to mention, because all these guys, I looked at their records.
Yeah.
And they all, because they have amateur records now on BoxRec. You can look at their amateur record.
Oh wow.
Then
okay.
you can go on if they went in the World Series of Boxing, and that's pretty much a professional.
It is
professional boxing. The 5 rounds, no headgear.
Yeah.
So these guys all fought in there, and when you fight in the World Series of Boxing, it's the best of the best of the countries, right?
And they're getting paid.
They're getting paid. Yeah,
but they don't add those fights to their records.
They don't, because Lomachenko, I think he had like 6 wins in the World Series of Boxing, but they never counted those. So basically, him coming into the professional ranks, no fights as a professional, but really he fought. I think it was 6 fights in the World Series of Boxing, something like that.
Yeah, true.
So true.
Well, I like seeing these guys come over from those countries, because they're tough as nails, man.
They're tough, and they're very well schooled. They box really nice. Yeah. Let them have an opportunity to make money, man. In a sport like this, that's so difficult. Yeah. Forget the amateur. You're not gonna make money with the amateur. Yeah. You're probably gonna get screwed in the Olympics if you go there. Whatever. It's so political. Let them have an opportunity to turn professional and make money for themselves and their family.
Gotcha. I agree 100%. Yeah. And maybe I think we'll see more of that too, because they're such good fighters, so disciplined.
Yeah. So, okay, Doc. So,
how are we doing for time, man? I don't even know.
We got like 9 minutes left.
Holy smokes!
But Doc, so did you? Yeah. So now, okay. So let me just do a little introduction into this. So I read this one quote, and it really hit home. It says, the new generation aren't fighting each other, so the old ones have to step up and do their job. And what I'm alluding to is, look at the list of all these fights that are going to happen now. Exhibition fights. I think most of them are. So we got Marco Antonio Barrera is going to fight Jesus Soro Carras.
My God, Carras is still going to fight?
Yeah. And Barrera, June 11. Then we got June 12th, Miguel Cotto versus Juan Manuel Marquez.
What? At what weight?
I don't even know about the weights right now.
Oh my god.
Hey, that would have been a fight to see when they were in their primes, eh? That would have been a nice fight to see, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Then we got
but Cotto fought when Cotto fought Canelo, it was at 154, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't see him going down to Cotto going down to 147.
Oh, I highly doubt it. It's an exhibition fight.
Yeah. Wow.
Then we got on June 19th, we got Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. versus Hector Camacho Jr. So they're getting, and then on the same card, we got Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and versus Anderson Silva.
Oh my God, Silva, he's gonna box. Okay.
But didn't he work with Freddie Roach?
Yeah,
right?
And he also had some pro boxing fights too.
Yeah.
In the past. Yeah.
In Brazil. Yeah.
Not just in Brazil,
okay.
but I've looked it up and I've seen some pro fights he had.
Yeah.
One or two, not a lot. So he's fighting who did you say again?
Chavez Jr.
Yeah. What do you think about all this?
Well, I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, look at what the new generation, they're not fighting each other. Let the old generation come in. These guys aren't Haney. Well, Haney's fighting Lennart, but they're not fighting each other. These guys aren't fighting each other. Let's see some good fights. Well, I mean,
I agree. The only thing is, they're not like, if we look at the Tyson Roy Jones Jr. fight,
yeah,
which was great to see both those guys in the ring again. There's no question, and it was a good, Tyson especially looked real good.
Yeah,
but they also looked like 50-something-year-old pros.
Yeah,
which is still high level, but 50-something-year-old pros compared to 26-year-old pros, it's just a different game.
Yeah.
So there is a different entertainment factor, I guess, to that, a curiosity, fight.
Yeah, I think it's that curiosity factor.
Yeah. But damn it, like, again, I saw in the news again about Crawford and saying that it's just not going to happen with him and Spence.
Yeah, that is dead. He's moving on.
That's the 147-pound fight that we all want to see.
Yeah, we all want to see that. But you know what? Like, if that doesn't happen, this guy fighting this weekend, Jerron Boots Ennis.
Yeah,
he's fighting Sergey Lipinets.
Yes.
This is the guy, the 147-pound. He's gonna be the best guy. He's gonna be the guy. I really believe that he's so sick.
Well, that's gonna be a problem for him too, though. That's if he looks too. If he looks too good against Lipinets, who's no slouch.
Not at all.
If he looks good against him,
19.
Who's gonna want to fight him at 147? Like, which top guy is gonna actually want to go and fight him?
Yeah, that's the thing with boxing, right? Like these guys are not fighting each other.
This is a big problem, man. This is a problem. They're gonna have to solve this.
There's way too many belts. Before I was all down for the belts when there's 4 of them. I was all about it because I'm like, these guys, they may never have an opportunity to make good money. That at least now they can win a title, and may not be the best guy in the weight class, but they can still win a title, and that title will bring with it some money and stuff that they can make. But now it's just too much. Interim this, franchise champion, champion in recess,
Diamond, WBC.
Diamond, this. Everyone's got like belts, like dope belts. I'm like, why didn't I ever get those belts when I was fighting, man? We never had the opportunities to get those.
And then if you got all these belts, do they all have mandatories then for all these belts? And if they have mandatories, it's not even going to be the top guys.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's going to
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's something but boxing's doing, boxing's always survives.
It will.
It's one of those sports.
Well, Doc, there's so many fights happening, right? Like coming up and everything. And that just shows like the boxing, how it's gonna always be here.
It will be.
There's so many fights.
Yeah.
So just quickly about the fights coming up, we got Joe Smith Jr., Maxime Vlasov. That's 12 rounds for the WBO a light heavyweight title winner. Apparently will fight better Biev.
Yep.
Then we got Duran Boost Ennis and Sergey Lipinets in Unkinsville, Connecticut. So it's on Showtime.
Wicked.
And there's a guy in that card too, is German and Ankjaz. And I forget how to pronounce. Another Filipino.
Filipino. I've seen him fight.
He's and that's an IBF champion. He is junior bantamweight.
Yep, good fighter. I've watched a couple of his fights.
Then we got in London, and we got Sam Vargas is fighting Connor Ben. That's the son of Nigel Ben.
Yes, and they were talking about Samuel Vargas. Like they were saying, this dude. They're looking at the Khan fight, especially.
That because Khan said it. Khan said it. Khan's like, don't. It's not just going to be an easy fight. Khan's saying that because he got dropped against Vargas and stuff. And he's saying this is going to be his biggest test.
I love it that Vargas is getting all these big name fights. I mean, this is awesome for him.
He fights everyone. He's fought Virgil Ortiz, Amir Khan, Spence Jr., Danny Garcia. He's fought all of them.
That's fantastic. I hope he's made enough money to be set.
Yeah.
You know, because that guy never says no to anybody.
Yeah. And you got to appreciate that. He represents
us Canadians really well.
For sure.
I'm happy for him.
Yeah. Hard work. I remember dog, like where I live, right? So like I run a lot and stuff. I stay in shape, like boxing shape.
Yeah.
One day I was running. This guy like passes me, and I don't like when people pass me, because what I do, I try to chase him, right? But he passed me, and he just waited. I'm like, hey, that's Vargas. Like, damn, man, he's running fast. I'm like, I'm not gonna even try to catch up to him, man. Like, he's younger than me, man. I can't do that.
That's funny, man. It's so Vargas. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So that's it, Doc. We had our hour meetup.
Woo! We got good fights coming up. I like it.
Yeah.
And also May, June, that all looks great too.
A lot of fights, man. A lot of fights. Yeah. Lots to talk about always. Yeah. So all right then, Doc. Then we out.
Awesome, right, bro.
So
next week we got a lot to talk about.
All right.
Okay, man.
Ciao.